Yangon is the largest city in Myanmar, former capital, and one of the most amazing places we've ever been. Among the thriving markets and British colonial architecture, near its center is Shwedagon Pagoda, the most sacred Buddhist pilgrimage site in all of Myanmar, and one of the largest pagodas in the world. The grand set of stairs you climb in bare feet is imposing, as is the overwhelming number of vendors trying to sell flowers, offerings, and other trinkets to tourists and pilgrims during the ascent. And then, it overwhelms you. And as night falls, you start to notice something beyond the rituals, clueless crowds and devout monks. LEDs, everywhere. It's that perfect contradiction that forces you to reconsider what you first think about a place. And it says so much about Yangon so quickly, what exactly it says is harder to pinpoint. And not far from this holy site is another contradiction. A force for good with truly noble goals and an unexpected package. Meet the Rebel Riot.
The sun rises over Yangon in Myanmar, also known as Burma. And we're headed to meet up with Jojo, the lead singer of the Burmese punk rock band, the Rebel Riot. He and the punks of Yangon are working hard to make their community a better place for underprivileged youth. Not only does Rebel Riot run the local chapter of the international nonprofit Food Not Bombs, they also work with communities across the country to develop peace, caring, and understanding.
Jojo loves his city, and he asked us to meet him at the Yangon Central Railway Station. He wanted us to see what he called the real Yangon on the Circle Train, a colonial-era train that circumnavigates the entire city over a course of about 3 hours.
As soon as we were on the train, we saw Jojo's magnetic personality in action. He wants to engage with everyone and make a difference, even if it's just bringing a smile to a kid's face.
Our train is very nice, the best train in the world, like this, all of it.
Yeah. It's how expensive is it to ride this train?
This train?
Yeah.
I did 200 jet, only 200 jet.
13 cents.
13
For a
cents.
3-hour trip. And you could get off, get on, come back, turn around, spend all day long on the train. And the kids that are riding the train, they're just riding for fun?
Yeah, riding for
So you were like making their hair into, there's that one kid want you to make his hair look.
Yes.
This really feels like real Yangon?
Yes.
It's funny because you look out and you see all the stuff and you think, I'm out in a village somewhere, but this is all the city, right?
Yeah, all Yangon city. But look like countryside and you will see more poor people.
So you were telling me Myanmar is the best country in the world.
Yes, Myanmar is the best in the world.
Why do you say that? What
Because
do you
of
love
my
about
country.
Yeah, of course, it's your country.
And what's the best Burmese food?
I like mohenga.
Mohenga.
Mohenga is a
What is it?
noodle soup
Okay.
with making with fish. It's a banana tree, onion inside.
Yeah.
It's great. Our people like spicy a lot.
Yeah.
No spicy, no fun. More spicy,
No
more fun.
spicy, no fun.
Just like punk rock.
Yeah,
Jojo was right. We did get a better sense of the city on the train. When you go from the airport to downtown, you see a certain Yangon. But out here, we got to see what everyday life was like for the average citizen. We hopped off the train and stopped by a punk rock shop where Jojo and his buddies sell all the DIY stuff they make.
So when
This is all DIY. He make every day this stuff.
This is awesome, man.
All do it ourselves.
Yeah.
is this the only punk shop
Yes.
in Yangon?
Yes.
Probably only punk shop in Myanmar.
I think so. Yeah, but Yangon is for sure. There's only one punk shop.
That is
Very
awesome.
historical punk shop.
Oh, well, I know what it has to be. It has to be red, man.
The red.
Red. Yeah.
The homemade bracelet Craig was buying and the t-shirts and rings do more than make money for the group. Being a punk rocker in an extremely conservative society is not without challenges. I mean, Myanmar only opened up to the West in 2012, so it can be hard to get a job when you look like Jojo and his friends. Not far from here in a Yangon neighborhood, the Rebel Riot run a kind of screen printing and DIY co-op out of their apartment to provide work and experience to those in the community suffering from the stereotypes many punk rockers deal with. The experience laid the groundwork for larger projects and showed them that by making small changes in their lives, they could make a difference. So when did you guys start Rebel Riot?
Since 2007.
Okay.
After Saffron Revolution.
Oh, really? Was it possible to be a band before then? Was it possible to be a punk band before then?
No, you can do it by secretly. Military government, if they know you sing about politics, very dangerous. Myanmar is very complicated because military dictatorship are still controlling. Doesn't matter who is a president or who is a leader because this is same. We are angry, we are sad, we wanna fight the system with music. That's why we choose a band. Even we are not musicians, we don't know how to play guitar. We wanna focus more social change what we can. So that's why I always say, complain is very easy for everyone. We used to complain too. We used to complain to the system by music. We wanna change better society, but we forgot to change ourselves. This is very simple and very powerful because if we know ourselves, we can change ourselves first. This is first step. Then second step around us.
This idea of changing oneself is important to Jojo and goes beyond simple self-improvement. It's about true compassion for others and making a difference in the community you belong to. Jojo and his friends insisted on feeding us, and after a simple, excellent lunch, we talked about the Food Not Bombs program they run. The Rebel Riot was inspired by another chapter of Food Not Bombs that they met while on tour in Indonesia, and in classic DIY fashion thought, hey, we can do that.
A lot of governments say, we want peace, we want peace. If they use bomb, never can be peace. So we start this program because we want to show to the government, we are punks, but we want to change small thing for the homeless people. They are very poor because of the system is very bad. They need not only physical stuff, they also need love, kindness, and compassion. Some people give money, then they go. Some people get food, then they leave. No one trying to talk. So we trying to talk and good connection with them. Doesn't matter how you look like, white or black or Islam or Christian or Buddhism. Only two kind of people in the world. Good people, stupid people. Good people do good things, stupid people do stupid things. That's all. So kindergarten thinking, but
Sometimes kindergarten thinking
is most true.
is the most true. That's right. Yeah, totally. Yangon is a lively place at night. And like any other metropolitan area, it has a large homeless population, many of which are children. Once a week, as part of their Food Not Bombs program, the Rebel Riot and the other members of the punk community set out to feed and educate youth living on the streets. Usually they prepare food and bring it with them, but with us tagging along and taking up their day, it was easier to purchase food with the money that they had raised from their punk shop and the occasional donation. By the time we arrived, many of the kids were already there, and they were having a blast with Jojo and the other volunteers. After handing out the food, they worked on teaching short lessons in reading and writing.
The kids seemed genuinely into the experience, and many never missed a night. I think Jojo and his friends were having a blast too. In their eyes, it was more of an exchange. Both groups were learning from each other. Sometimes kindergarten thinking is the most true. Of course, the gathering wasn't complete until Earl tried to balance something on his nose, or in this case, more like his face.
After they had finished working with the kids, JoJo had a DJ gig with a friend at a local watering hole called the Pirate Bar. And of course, we went. And we invited our dear friend Hnin Hnin Pyne, who had recently returned to Yangon after leaving as a refugee many years before. Her perspective on the city was really interesting, but also totally unintelligible due to the noise and the fun we were having. Fortunately, our paths crossed again not long after in Bangkok, and we talked to her about Yangon and what it was like for her to return, following yet another shout out to mohinga, of course.
I think you definitely need to eat mohinga,
Okay.
which is this sort of fish soup with lemongrass and ginger, but you have to eat it in the morning.
Oh, really?
Fish soup at
In the
7.
morning?
Yep.
Okay, I could do that.
So then you and I and Earl all went to the International School in Bangkok together. We're not going to say the year, though.
No, we won't. No.
You were in Bangkok, but Bangkok is not where you're from, so...
Well, I was born in Yangon, and I think my parents and grandparents really saw the vibrant Rangoon.
It used to be Rangoon, and now it's Yangon.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, before the 1960s, Burma was the rice bowl of the world, and it had tremendous universities, and so there was so much hope, right, after the independence. And I think when you feel like there was so much potential, how could have gone wrong?
Yeah.
And when you have to leave that, when you don't really know why. So you have this it's like you've been wronged somehow.
Right.
And that kind of creates this feeling of connection, even though I didn't return it for over many decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back only in 2013.
Yeah. JoJo is a punk rocker in Myanmar.
And hanging out with you guys.
Well, that's the funny thing. He honestly doesn't care what you look like.
Yeah.
It's all about what's the most natural expression of yourself.
He is radical for Myanmar.
Because the way he looks?
Just the way he looks and everything.
Now, is
Pretty
that
stinking
surprising to you in Myanmar, or do you see more and more of that individualism kind of burgeoning in a country like Myanmar?
So, yeah. But it's not only individuals kind of getting together with shared, like-minded other individuals, right?
Yeah.
Then they can actually make even more of a difference when we can look at each other in the eyes and really kind of see sort of the divisions can fall apart. At the end of the day, it's not just the government who has to make changes.
Even if it's a kid with a mohawk and...
But I think on some level, he's sort of expressing in words and in action something that's what I would call metta. In Buddhism, it's this word called loving kindness and generosity. I think when you've had a country that for so many decades where general population were either repressed or neglected, communities have to help themselves in some ways, right? And so the civil society, if it wasn't about politics, was vibrant. I mean, there was a sense of if there was someone who was sick, there will be someone who would try to help them out, get them health care. So I think there is a sense of strong cohesion within the community. But I think what we need to see is that there are many, many different communities in the country, right? And how do you get cohesion across these communities? And that would be really exciting for the country. But I mean, I think there's also not to say that you can go to these places and still think that you have the answer. And that's wrong, I mean, in my view.
Yeah,
it's really hard to go and
exactly.
you can't really listen anymore, right? But it's not one or the other. We all have ideas. We all go to a place with our own perspective.
I think that's the beauty of the type of traveling that you and I do, because it's not sitting from a loft, top of a hotel. It's getting together with people that spend their time in that last mile of service. It kind of breaks it down. If you have your eyes open and you're looking,
and you are a learner. It's always about being a learner, and
but you got to be open to it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have to.
I think you have to be.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, we can't really talk about the work that Hnin Hnin had been doing in Yangon, but her perspective as a refugee, mohinga aficionado, and as someone who deeply loves Myanmar was really valuable.
Back in Yangon, we did see glimpses of that vibrant civil society Hnin Hnin spoke of, and in a way, Jojo and his friends were the perfect example. We were meeting Jojo at his favorite tea house before we went across the river to visit another community. That's where we found out the surprising news about his father.
My father is a policeman.
Dad's a policeman.
My father and my mother are very worried about me. They think I don't work anymore, I will use drugs. Then I'm trying to educate them about my life and about punks.
And today, how do they look at punk?
My mom really like me, what I'm doing, and sometimes she share my posts on Facebook very often right now. She's very proud.
She's proud of you. That's
Yes,
awesome.
Lord,
That's right.
yeah, yeah.
And your policeman father, is he also proud of you?
Yeah, he proud.
Do they listen to your music?
No, they don't like it.
So do you have brothers and sisters?
I have two brothers, two younger brothers.
And are they into punk?
No, they are normal people. They follow my parents' rules.
When you were growing up, when did you get introduced to punk?
Honestly, by fashion. After that, I listen music. Even I go to university, I don't wanna study hard.
Yeah.
For the punk, it's my university. Every
Study
night,
hard.
study hard. Punk is my life, my experience, my choice. But when I saw my brother or other people, if they don't like punk, I cannot judge because I don't like people judge to me. That's
Yeah,
why I
of
don't
course.
judge to other people.
What did punk do with you with Buddhism and your spirituality?
When I became a punk, I feel like a rebellion. I don't care because I'm also a teenager. I ready to easy to make my middle finger up. Yeah, I didn't connect with the Buddhism, like a negative view. Everything is wrong, everything system is wrong, police is wrong, everything wrong. What is punk philosophy? Why punk say the system? Why punk say the government? Why do punk say this? Why? You know, a lot of people, their mind is like a robot. Their mind is like a sheep. Even they own the human body. The mind is not human. Be yourself.
Right.
Not the slave of system, not the slave of money, not the slave of power. So punk is, they want a revolution with the individual. So Buddhism also depend on individual lifestyle. Punk also want to make better society, better world. Buddhism also talking about love, peace, kindness, also better society, better world. So should be connect.
Buddha is the original punk.
Must be, yeah. Yeah, I think so. We already take a lot from our universe. Oxygen,
Yeah.
food.
Right.
Then you are taking, then die. That's selfish. I cannot change the world. I cannot change even my country, but I can only change two things, myself and around us. Even you have to do small thing, just do it. That's what I strongly believe because I wanna live in this short life by honor.
It's really, what am I doing?
Yes.
You are in control of
Yes.
your own future and powerful idea.
The whole room is dark, right? If you light with the candle,
Right.
this light is against the dark.
Yeah.
So good people are like that.
It only takes a spark to get a fire.
That's right. Yeah.
Dark side is more than light side. So we have to burn ourselves. We have to make our own light. This is already again dark around you.
It was time for Jojo to bring this spark to Dala, an impoverished and mostly illegal community only reachable by ferry from Yangon. It supplies much of the city's workforce, and huge crowds travel back and forth daily. The punks were bringing rice, school supplies, and some children's toys to a village they had been supporting. There were rain clouds on the horizon, but as soon as we disembarked, the sun broke out, and it was like we had gone back in time. The British colonial architecture and LED lights of Yangon gave way to small village centers and farmlands in every direction. The punk rockers had an ongoing relationship with the community and were trying to make a material difference there, while also spreading peace, love, and kindness. As we arrived, children and adults alike were filled with excitement, and the crowds grew as they started to sing and perform for the villagers. Even the rain couldn't ruin the fun, as they prepared to pass out the rice, supplies, and small toys. They continued to sing and celebrate into the night.
It was just a small bridge between the two communities, the farmers and the punk rockers. but it was a joy to experience the loving kindness, or metta, on display.
How often do you guys come out here?
We are often 2 or 3 months, not only here, everywhere around Myanmar, what we can.
How important is music to make that bond?
Music is so important to make happiness for everyone, to teach them about how to love each other, how to respect each other, how to kind each other. Happy.
Back in the city, we met just about every punk rocker in town at a traditional Yangon beer station.
This is almost the whole punk community.
Yeah, our community, yeah.
Right.
Cheers. Yes. Yeah.
We had a blast just hanging out and talking. But one thing became clear. This was a really tight community. And one of the bonds that held them together was their commitment to make their city a better place for everyone, not just other punks.
After a late night, we had a bit of a trip for our final day in Yangon. About 3 to 4 hours away was Kyaiktiyo Pagoda, or Golden Rock Temple. And it is not to be missed. Jojo and friends decided to tag along. A jaunt up the mountain in an ancient four-wheel drive vehicle is both exciting and a little scary before transforming into the completely mysterious.
The small mountain town at the base of the pathway gives way to the proper entrance, where you once again remove your shoes for the final trek to the temple. The growing sound of tinkling bells slowly transported us back in time as our once rowdy group fell silent.
Buddhists from all over the world make the pilgrimage to Golden Rock, and male devotees make merit by applying gold leaf to the rock near its base.
Wow, that is something else.
Jojo explains that according to legend, the Golden Rock itself is precariously perched on a single strand of the Buddha's hair and was moved here by a celestial king. Our new friends, the mist, and the growing sound of tinkling bells started to make all this talk of love, Buddhism, peace, and punk rock make a little more sense. And the next thing we knew, in the shadow of Golden Rock, Jojo, the punk rocker, had attracted the attention of the chief officer in charge of the temple. And we were lucky he did, because the officer then allowed us to walk out and touch the holy object, even though it was the rainy season, and not normally allowed.
Jojo approaches every situation with an open mind and an open heart, and we've learned a lot from him. Like he said back at the beginning, Myanmar is a complicated place, but he also believes it's the best country in the world.
We can't just complain to the government or the system or against those different from us. We have to remember to change ourselves first, and then maybe real change can follow.
And if we believe in a better version of our world, we can make it happen. Bit by bit, person by person, place by place.